What do you guys say we get some miles on this car? It's been actually driving pretty well. I got about 20 miles on it or so right now. I need to get at least another 20 to 25 on it, just so that way it's, you know, I can do the oil change and everything, braking's fully done, at least to the point of the initial break-in, and then we have like another probably 350, 450 miles on just driving her pretty easy before I decide to get a tune done on it, and might change up a couple parts at the same time, just because if I'm gonna tune it, I'd rather tune it for everything I want. But we'll see. The biggest concern that I have at this time is making sure I got all of the metal out of the engine when I did the rebuild, just because it was a lot, as you saw in a lot of previous videos. The oil filter I didn't even get to cut open myself because it was taken by one of the shops that looked at it. So I don't know how bad that necessarily looked. I'm curious how much actually made it to the filter versus how much was just hanging out in the engine, because that would be pretty telling as to how much I should trust just a first oil change with the filter change and the cut. But as far as I know right now, and as far as I'm concerned, I just want to get this mileage done. So far, everything feels good on it. Nothing weird's happening. Oil pressure's been great. AFRs have been pretty good, a little funky here and there. I think it probably just needs a retune. Everything else seems pretty solid. So yeah, I'd say let's go get like 20, 25 miles on it, see how she looks, and then kind of go from there. That clutch. So it is throwing a code for a cam position sensor on the intake side. For everything I was reading, it's not uncommon for them to do that if they have cams in them, and this one does. It has the 272s, so I'm not too worried about it. There are 25 miles so far on here, and this car has been driving great. That house. There's a good handful of rattles in this car. I really got to try and get found and fixed. Might be a challenge being, what, 2006, so I'm sure there's plenty of clips that need to be fixed. out a couple things. I have a new boost gauge that's going to be getting delivered tomorrow. It's going to be another Pro Sport gauge, so that's all going to get moved up here once I get my triple pod in. I'm thinking about doing oil pressure, boost, figure something out for the third one, but later on, I might leave air fuel up here, I'm not sure. But later on, I'm thinking about replacing that guy there and putting an AEM gauge in it. So let me know if you think that's a good idea. I kind of like the idea of it. Let's go get this thing a quick bath too. Get some of the age off of it. We put about 2 miles on it already. Selling, but it was some odds and ends. Please don't hate me for not using my turn signal. I'm having electrical issues. Or what? Oh, it's a Suzuki. That's kind of cool. So bad. Alright, we got like 1 mile left, and then this break-in is pretty much done. I've just been kind of driving around a little bit. Didn't want like 30 minutes of virtually nothing for footage. So far everything still sounds pretty good. Everything's feeling good. I have like 0 boost right now, which isn't really a problem, but I definitely think one of my lines is either missing or melted or something. But yeah, it definitely doesn't feel like I'm actually building like I should be. What do you think, little fella? Mr. Riley? What do you think? Starting to finally kind of get used to this clutch now too, which is good. So I think the next 3 things on my list, besides installing my gauges properly, are going to be doing my brakes, to redo the powder coat on those so they look nice. And then redoing this head unit because it's atrocious and sounds terrible. It's awkward as all hell to use. I can't even tell you how to change stations on here because it's so convoluted. So that'll get changed. And then I want to redo all of the wiring basically from here to the back for all the speakers. And I found out something pretty cool that I'm going to experiment with on this car regarding some OEM speakers from another company. So we're going to see how that works. I think I'm going to order 1 or 2 speakers from them and see how they fit. And if they fit, then yeah, we'll send it. We'll go ahead and toss some new speakers in here and a new head unit for sure, because this thing's terrible. Alright, so we have about 40.7 miles on this car now, and it's running and driving perfect. I'm pretty happy with it. I definitely need new tires in this thing because they are still the tires that I bought with the car after it sat for like 5 years, so that's gonna have to be a thing. I don't see any like dry rot or anything on them, surprisingly. No signs of like they're gonna explode any minute now, but it would just be good just to get them replaced anyway. I'm noticing now too, my bumper's kind of sagging a little bit. I'm guessing it's probably the front mount versus like the bumper mesh. So if you have a solution for that, please comment below, because I need some ideas to make this thing not look so jank. As far as things left to do on this car, it's a lot of just buttoning up. I think tomorrow after work or Monday, I'll go ahead and do the first oil change and see how it looks. Fingers crossed it's good, because that's, you know, the entire build depends on that first oil change, so it's a big deal. Really hoping for the best. But yeah, I'll pick this video back up tomorrow with the oil change, see where we're at, and hopefully everything looks good. We can continue on and yeah, just make this thing a driver again. All right, today's the day. I can't keep putting it off. It's time to do an oil change on this engine. I have like 41 miles on it now. I'm nervous to say the least. I mean, if you've ever done an engine rebuild, you know it's like so incredibly stressful when you go to do that first oil change. So I'll just hope that it's good and we don't see a bunch of metal in there, because I want to drive this thing more. If it's good, nothing's funky, no like disco partying the oil filter, no like coolant mixed oil, anything like that, then we are good. I think I'm gonna buy some tires for it and actually really start putting some miles on this thing. Once I hit about, I don't know, I wanna get like 100, 200 miles on there, pay off the last of the stuff that's gone into this thing, get a few bucks set aside, and then I want to retune this thing with the parts that are on it and enjoy it. I want to rip on it and just have fun in this car, drive it for what it is, and then in a few months, I plan on redoing, I want to, over time, probably over the next few months even, relocate the battery to the back, do a new distribution system for the electrical, get some wiring redone so that way it looks better, and just do kind of stuff like that. Just I really want to make this thing look as good as it can, because I've done so much good work right here. I want that side to match. And then at the same time as doing the battery relocation, and about the time I'm ready for a retune, I want to go ahead and get some short round intercooler piping on here, because I think it looks incredible. Swap to a tile blow-off valve, and see about maybe doing flex around that time. I gotta see if we can actually even do flex, because from what I was understanding, it might not be possible on the 9s, but we'll see. 9's own stock ECU. But at the very least, I want to redo the wiring, do a wire semi-tuck, not like a full tuck, but just enough so that way it looks better, relocate the battery, get all my electrical on the inside redone, including speakers and a head unit, and get this thing entered into a car show, because there's one coming up. And in order to do that, the roof, which has damaged clear coat on it, we're gonna repair that. Depending on how much time I have, funds, all that, I want to redo it in either a quick way that would be temporary, keyword temporary fix, just that way it looks passable, better than it does now, or I'm going to buy formal clear coat and actually paint the roof and learn how to paint a car at the same time. And when we do that, I might start looking at doing a recorder fix, because that is disgusting. And one other thing, just because I want to keep adding things onto my plate, is going to be redoing the brakes, which I think is going to come up sooner than I was expecting. Found some seals for a pretty good price. Seals, as you know, especially on a car that is approaching 20 years old, which is crazy to think about, they're very important on the brakes, so I want to make sure I do them right. But we'll be redoing those in the same color as the valve cover, probably with silver lettering to match my valve cover, or black. It's either gonna be silver or black. So comment below, should I do the Brembos, these guys, should I do them in that same red, which is this red right here? They're gonna be that color. Should I do black lettering, or should I do silver? What do you think would look best? Comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are. I read every single comment, try to reply to every single comment. And yeah, I want your thoughts. Plus it helps out with getting the video up there. So I appreciate it. Oh, one of my nuts on my intake manifold here, or exhaust manifold, is loose. It's very loose. How did that happen? So I think I'm gonna go through, before I even do the oil change, let's retighten all of these and make sure that they're down to spec. So we'll tighten down all those, because I bet that's why I wasn't feeling very much boost the other day when I was driving it. Get all those tightened down, and then let's do this oil change that I really don't want to do. All right, here we go. This is gonna be the first part of this, so I'm gonna take the drain plug off on camera just because it's a big deal. All right, so in here, I have some paper towels. Got the drain plug right there. It's already loose. And I dropped it. All right, I'm gonna let this thing drain out. I have paper towels there to kind of catch any funky stuff. Oil does look pretty dark, but it's also green, so it's kind of hard to tell. Actually, it's looking pretty green, I guess. Yeah, go up here and dry my hands off. All right, so this is it. I haven't looked at it yet. I just got it this far out. I had to do a multitude of different things to get it to even get this far. My hands are literally shaking because I'm so nervous about this. Just hoping it's good. Let's set this off here and kind of peek in here first. There's definitely a little bit of sparkle in here, but I don't know if that's unheard of. I think you're only worried about like the big metal pieces. Problem is, the way I have to open these oil filters, I can't tell if it's necessarily bad or if it's like just me opening this thing up. Like there's that gasket that just fell out. Occasional, like it doesn't look super bad, but these like little random flakes like this, like I don't know if it's from rebuilding the engine, like if they were just kind of hiding somewhere in there or what. Because obviously this thing spun a rod bearing, or not a rod bearing, spun the balance shaft bearing, but I can't tell. I don't know if you can see it in there, but yeah, there's some little bits of something. Man. That's not good. Definitely not ideal. All right, new plan, since I don't really like what I'm seeing in that oil filter as much as I'd like to. It could just be random bits here and there. It could be something catastrophic. It didn't look like bad current bearing material. It kind of looked older, just kind of what I'm seeing on it. But I can't really be positive, so I think I'm gonna have to take the downpipe off and then take the oil pan off and see what it looks like from there, because I would rather be overly cautious and just re-torque all that stuff than to have not enough caution and it being catastrophically bad, and then I just completely kill this engine, which would not be ideal. This already is not an ideal situation. I was really hoping for clean oil, but it is what it is at this point. I mean, you can't just be like, well, it's nothing, because there's definitely some stuff in there I don't like seeing. So I'm gonna take this oil pan off and see, I wanna see what the inside of the oil pan looks like, and then I wanna see what one of the rod bearings looks like as well. And then we'll kind of go from there. Just absolutely pray for good news on the inside there. I'm hoping this is just some stuff that was just lingering in the engine and it just made its way into the filter. That should be the best case scenario. It'd be even better if it wasn't there, but I mean, worst case, if it was just in the engine, made its way just to the filter and went nowhere else, that would be the absolute best case scenario. And I can just do another oil change, like another 50 miles. You know, I know it's a waste of oil in a filter. I would rather just be safe than sorry. And yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna pop the oil pan off and again, hope for the best. So after the last update about the metal in the oil pan, or metal in the oil filter, notice the car's gone, truck's still here. So it killed the engine and just decided to part ways with it, let it go, be with someone that can rebuild it, and work on the Tacoma more. So that's all I got for you guys. So that was a lie. What actually ended up happening was, yes, there is metal in the filter. I'm still not sure what the origin story is for that. I'm thinking it might just be left over in like one of the galleys or something from obviously the valve trap bearing going so bad. So I'm thinking that's probably all it was, because I pulled off the, the downpipe, the oil pan, all of the oil assembly underneath it, minus like the oil pump or the oil pickup, just because I have the I don't have an extra gasket. And I pulled all of the rod caps to look at all of them, all of the bearings, and everything looked good. So I don't, whatever the metal was is not getting into that. But yeah, the car is just sitting outside right now just because I've been driving around quite a bit. I have, I think, 80 something miles on it now, so it's driving pretty nice. Sounds pretty good, really needs a tune. But today, which I'm gonna end out this video and start another video in the next about 5 minutes, we are going to be working on the electrical stuff because I have all sorts of like weird little electrical issues and a lot of previous ownership problems that amount to a big headache. So I'll get into that in the next video. Future plan, I want to try and get like 2 or 3 videos staged this weekend if I can, because working makes it a lot harder to do videos at the same time. So I'm going to try to get back onto a weekly schedule and not run out of content. See what I can do. Next thing I got to work on is going to be the truck. It rides terrible, and in the last snowstorm, somehow making like a negative 2 mile an hour turn into a parking lot and this little like 120 degree turn. I don't know if it was like fighting 4-wheel since it was all snowy and icy out, but it just started sliding and just gravitated toward a curb and very gently pushed the right wheel back a little bit, it looks like. I don't know how, because it hit so slow and with such little force, I didn't think it'd do anything. I just backed up, was like, that was a thing, and then started driving. It wasn't until I was driving home later on a long straightaway I realized my wheel is a little bit off. So you gotta look into that. I wanna try and figure something out for the leaf springs in the rear because they are so bad. Maybe something for the shocks too, and then the fronts. I still have a video for these coilovers that I recorded in February of, I think it was earlier this year. So it is coming up on almost a year that I've been driving on these things. So I'm probably gonna wrap that video up today or tomorrow, just so that way I can say this is the year of ownership should you buy these. Other than that though, I have a lot of good stuff going on at the Evo. I have a couple little plans in the works as far as tune and whatnot, and just like little things to do just to keep things interesting, keep things going. But yeah, first up is going to be electrical fixes, and that is coming up right after I end this video. So thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, definitely subscribe. I'm just about at 200 subscribers, which is pretty cool. I know one of these days I'm gonna look back on that when I have hopefully a lot more than that and say, it's crazy I started here. Huge thank you to all the supporters, everyone that's been watching, commenting, liking, subscribing, all of that. Massive thank you to you. I'm gonna wrap this video up here, but again, just wanted to say thank you so much for supporting the channel, supporting myself, supporting my projects, and there is many more to come, especially if we actually can get this channel off the ground a little bit. I've been dying to do some Honda projects in the future, and maybe even proceed with the LS plan if we can get some funds and things can kind of work out that way. So we'll see. Anyway, thank you. Catch you on the next video.